guys, this is WarBatFin66 and I'm sorry for the long break between my videos, but as most of you know, sometimes you have to work before you can play. Anyway, I'm back now and I want to talk to you about an older plane of mine, J-Power A-7 Corsair II. I bought this plane in autumn of 2010 and it was in service ever since, but to be honest, I didn't flew it that often. Don't get me wrong, the A7 was not such a bad plane, especially as a beginner jet. But in the end, the EDF drive seemed to be a little bit too weak. The flight time was a little bit too short and the sound, well, it was simply annoying. So after a while I turned my attention back from jets to older propeller-driven planes. But apparently things change. And I noticed that over the last year or so, more and more jets appeared at the flight line at our field. These jets were different. They were bigger and faster and way more powerful than the old ones I knew. And they really sounded like jets too. So I thought maybe I can update my old A7 with one of those cool new EDF drives. I started to talk with some guys at the field and ended up with a few recommendations for a new drive system. I was a little bit surprised because I expected to hear names like Hobby King or something like that, but in fact I heard a different name, WEMOTEC. I mean, I heard that name before, but I didn't realize that it was such a big deal. Because I mainly heard this WEMOTEC or by that WEMOTEC or maybe this WEMOTEC with a different motor, but it was always the same company. I didn't want to start an argument there, which would have been difficult anyway, because what can you really say against an EDF that makes hand launching look very easy and that pushing planes straight up into the sky, and on top of that, one that sounds really cool. Long story short, in the end I ordered one. To be honest, the price tag on this thing was a bit harsh, but at that point I also wanted to find out was all the fuss about it. Since WEMOTEC is a German company, the order didn't take very long, and a few days later the new Evo mini drive was lying on my desk. After unpacking the new Evo drive, I was actually a little bit disappointed because I expected it something really different, but it looked more or less the same. Was this a scam? But that feeling only lasted till I turned it on for the first time. It was running smooth as silk, no vibrations whatsoever, while at the same time blasting half of my gear off my table. And there was hardly any noise. A fitting 60 amp ESC was easily found, so I spare you the details of the real installation because it was pretty easy and, well, uneventful. After that I started to think about the plane itself. Because this bird was over 6 years old, well, let's say it had a little bit of hanger rush and a few dents here and there. After a little bit of research on the net, I decided to go with some sort of woodland camo, which provides good visibility in the air. And of course it looks cool, at least in my opinion. And while I was at it, I also started to build the pylons for the weapons. And before you guys ask, no, the ordnance is not yet ready, so you have to wait for the next video. I also installed one of those new Graupner gyro receivers in the nose, which makes the flight really smooth. After that I gave the old gull a thin coat of primer and started with the paint. Of course it took me a few days to put all the different layers of paint onto the plane, but in the end I was pretty happy with it. After putting all that paint on the bird, I checked the TG, but to my own surprise the balance didn't change. Good for me, so no extra weight needed. I printed the decals, cut them out and put them onto the plane. After that there was only one thing left to do. The test flight. Usually I put a little bit of music on the video, but not today. With music in the background you could not hear how good this bird actually sounds and, well, how quiet it actually is. This way jet flying is really fun again. With this bird I can even fly on Sundays, which is a pretty big deal here in Germany, because if you make any loud noise on Sunday here, you might end up having a discussion with the police. Well, the only thing left to say is enjoy the test flights. Well, this was it for today. And as always, if you have any questions about the plane, the mod or the drive system, please post a comment below and I try to answer it. Have fun at the flying field, guys. Warward Fan 66 out.